did.
We're going to go ahead and start this regular scheduled meeting.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. We were a little delayed giving Anthony time to get here, so we'll do a roll call.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Next thing is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we do have a flag tonight, so. I pledge allegiance to the flag Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering tonight, Lord. We ask that you just be in our presence and guide this city and guide this council meeting, Lord. Let us come together in your name, the precious name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Next thing on the agenda is to approve or amend of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept this agenda that was posted by Donna House.
I'll second.
Do your roll call?
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Next thing on the agenda is to approve or amend the minutes for the past meetings.
I'll make a
wanna do
motion to
all-
approve.
Are we doing all of them all at the same time, or can we?
We got to do them one by one.
Okay, this is for January 5th?
It doesn't matter. He says that you could do them all in one.
I think a motion's already on the floor. I'll second it. Motion to approve minutes.
Who was the first one?
Who was
Sorry.
the
Judd,
first?
wasn't it?
Judd.
Okay. Do your roll call?
Mr. Ortega?
Since I was not at the January 5th meeting, I'm going to abstain.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
And just a reminder, council, if you're going to speak, try to pull that mic closer to you so the public can hear you. Next thing on the agenda is a report from the department heads. Philip, you want to start us off?
First off, I want to start off with the winter weather we just had. I want to commend all the departments, especially the street department, on a good job they did. They all worked really hard. I know a lot of them were very tired, but they continued to go. I'll start off. January was a high activity month for us, primarily on the tail end, driven by the weather response. We did 12-hour shifts during this time. Normally when they go through, they'll make an initial path, and then we'll kind of salt it and then go back, and then they'll widen the roads out. But another thing that happened during this is the fallen trees from the ice, and we actually called in several sanitation people. They weren't able to run Monday, so we called them in to assist and help so we could keep the snow plows running. We had I think about 16 trees that we had to take down. Some of those were rather large, so they were a big help in getting that done. That enabled us to keep doing the plowing. I don't know if they'd done that in the past, but it worked really good. And then we also had them kind of work on getting the transfer station open, clearing over there and getting it salted. So when we did get to go again, we would be ready. So they did a really good job there. We've always do street light inspections. Randy does those every morning. Me and him both sometimes will be out driving. We flag those. Those are lights that go out that the city pays for. Most of the time when we find one out, we end up just putting a ribbon around it, and KU will come back and they will fix it. That's how they know that it's the one, because normally when they're out there, it's daylight and they're not burning, so they have
We
that.
actually called on Air Street and notified KU
Okay,
of one out, and they responded to it in about 3 days.
okay. Well, Randy primarily does that, and he has a good working relationship with them, so they usually get to them pretty quick. We're also currently working on Carter Street, redoing the sidewalk. Met two older gentlemen over there that said that that was something that they had been wanting a really long time. It's also one that, about a year ago, I think we got quotes on maybe getting it hydraulic lifted because it's all settled. The steel wasn't dialed into the back of the curb, so it wasn't feasible to go that route, so it was cheaper for us to go back and dig the old sidewalk completely out, widen it, make it ADA compliant. That's ongoing. Still got a lot to do. There's a little retaining wall we're going to need to do down there as well coming up. We also put in the curb and gutter out there at the Sulphur's Drive, kind of getting that more city-like and got it going. It's working out pretty well. We've put some speed bumps out there.
Is that the one that wraps around going back to the hotel?
Yeah, it comes around from behind the hotel down by, I think that's an old Cook Brothers, I believe is what it used to be. Comes out there. That's been a relief. We've kind of worked with the state on that. We continue to do roadside ditching and draining. That's something that's ongoing. We did have several mailboxes that we had to replace. We usually encourage people to call in. We put them on a list. It's not normally something that the guys necessarily hit. A lot of times it's the weight of the big wave of snow. We'll take them out, but we always go back. We keep some of those in stock, and we go back and replace them as that's needed. We also did plow the graveyard for a funeral they were having. They reached out, and we got that done. And then brush and leaf and junk, that's an ongoing thing. It's every month. You know, that list can be long or it can be short. We try to use it for filler work in between when we're down on the other times that we don't have a lot going on. We had all three of our mechanics in during the storm as well. We've got 6 trucks, but we ran 5. That gives us a truck that's sitting there. If one breaks down, we go pick it up and go out, and that serves us pretty well. So we had to utilize that some. And then our sanitation people, when they did get up and going, I had the mechanic people came in and they worked after hours because we needed to stay on top of the sanitation portion. So they were able to get the trucks in when they weren't running and service those. So that's where we're on that. Recycle is doing really good. We're pretty much doubled about what we put out on recycle right now. And I have to give Gilbert a lot of credit. He's really worked hard at that. He keeps the place in really good shape, really clean. And I think when he started, we were around 2 to 3 loads. We're getting about 5 or 6 out now, so it's working well. So that's pretty much all we got from Public Works.
Mr. Rawlings, I did have 2 questions. Do you have any time frame for the Willow Street? I know that a portion of that is closed, Willow and...
You're talking about the one down off 4th Street where the
Yes, sir.
buildings tore down?
Yes, sir.
I do not. I know they were in the process of cleaning that up, and then we're kind of in the same boat on this one up here on Main Street. I did speak with Josh today, and we've reached out. The word we're getting is the one on 4th Street, they're going to try to get to it this week. I'm sure that'd be weather permitting. We don't know what's going to go with that, but do you have any idea on the one on Willow Street, Josh?
Last I heard that they were sending off for asbestos testing. As soon as that came back, they were with the state. They took down what was in danger, imminent danger of falling, and they were waiting on those tests to come back, and then they were going to be ready.
Thank you, Josh. And then my second question, I know that we're a little over halfway through our yearly budget. With the extra overtime, did you have any budget issues? Or are you going to have any budget issues?
There
My question.
may be some. That's probably a question better suited for Dylan. I have been over the hours on that. I've got a paper. I want to think we were around 2,111
And I'll
hours.
help him there too. So where we did state of emergency, and I think Christie can probably weigh in as well for you guys, it requires you guys to allot funding for the state of emergency separate outside of the budget. So, which we can talk more about that. We've not lifted the state of emergency due to the fact of the extreme cold temperatures. We've been talking to KLC and the state on that. So if the storms if the extreme temperatures continue, obviously we won't lift it, but if they do lift and we do not get any more winter storms over the next couple of days, that it will probably expire and I'll lift it. But if you look at the statutes on the state of emergency, we'll have to talk about funding outside of that for that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Philip, what is your current head count? Do you know right off?
I've got that
43.
number, Judd, and I want to go over all that with you when we get to
Sure.
section A.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Philip. Next thing on the agenda would be the police acting chief.
Good evening, everyone. As Mr. Rollins said, I would like to piggyback on the efforts that were put forth through the winter storm by all the departments in the city. Everyone coordinated, everyone helped each other, and it was a pretty good success. We, at the police department, initially started off on 12-hour shifts. We monitored that, and when we could start pulling back and not working 12-hour shifts, we did that. We had a lot of activity through that. I'd like to cover the activity that we actually done during the storms. We did 54 transports, which was to and from warming shelters, 11 welfare checks, responded to debris in the roadway. We had 12 collisions, 70 extra patrols, and we were patrolling routinely through the hotels, apartments, and residences that were without power, to include Laurel Heights, to monitor and make sure that no one needed transport to the shelters. We had motorist assist. We also assisted with medical issues and delivered medications during the storm. The actual activity that the police department had through the month, this is for the whole month of January, we responded to 1,164 calls for service. They're broke down if anybody had any specific question on anything specific, how many accidents or anything like that for the month. But we responded to 1,164 calls for service, which is pretty routine for that period.
Chief, can you also give the council an update on the Doug Harless?
Yes, I was going to brief you that the last information we got is what we have made public in the Doug Harless case. We haven't received any further updates other than that case has went for prosecutorial review, and that's what process it's still in. So we have nothing further to update on that case.
Any other questions, council?
Yeah, if I could, please. And I've mentioned this back in the summer, and I know that this is pretty small compared to a lot of the things that your department has to deal with. Crosswalk down between Local Honey and First Christian Church, pedestrian crosswalk. I can't tell you how many people I've seen blow through that crosswalk and somebody standing there wanting to cross the street. And what I noticed one time, and I think I actually mentioned this to Philip, Berea, it's college town, of course, and you got a lot of kids on foot on that campus, and at their crosswalks, and this would probably be something that the chief wouldn't be responsible for doing this, but they have the same sign that we have, except they have a button that they can, whoever's getting ready to cross that street can activate the amber flashing lights that outline that sign. And I don't know what department would be in charge of that, but.
And I can talk to you about that too, but Chief, as far as the police department, is there anything you guys can do about people waiting to cross the street?
Well, I can assure you, Mr. Baker, I have come to that crosswalk with people waiting, and I stop every time.
Sure, and
Try
and
to
I do
monitor
too.
that situation as I come through on Main Street, back and forth.
But if people don't stop for a pedestrian
Yeah,
that's
there's
not
st-
required to stop, there's not really much you guys can do.
No, unless there's a city ordinance.
There's a
We'd have to
state
look
law.
that up to see
that
if
you
there's
have-
a city
that
ordinance
says
for
that
that.
you gotta stop. The pedestrian has the right of way. The sign is right there, and I'm not gonna call anybody out in here, but how long's that been up there? A year? That sign, maybe? I don't know. I stopped one day and I don't know, I'm not calling anybody out. I actually seen a city police car go through the other way and he didn't stop. Doesn't matter. That's been a year or so ago.
We have reached out to the state, and we've talked to them about putting a light there, because that's a federal highway, and they'll
Right.
have to do it. And they've told us for a couple of years that they're looking at it, but the issue that they have with it is stopping traffic again with a red light being so close. So they have a certain amount of footage before they will put another light in. And even though it's not a stoplight,
Right.
it still would require traffic to stop. And so they did tell us, me and Philip, probably about 5 months ago, that they're going to look at it again and see what they can do, because we also need something down there at Town Center Park.
Same thing.
It's the same issue.
Same thing, and, and depending on when you've got events going on down at Town Center, it's gonna be even more traffic, but the sign is there that says state law, the pedestrian has the right of way. Now, how you get people's attention, you get in a pocketbook,
Okay.
and that'll get their attention. Or at least do a warning, start out with that.
We'll give it some attention,
Give
Mr.
it some
Baker.
attention if we can.
I have a
Chief.
question, Chief. And this might fall a lot on the school system, so I'm just trying to find out. I know that every day there isn't police patrol out there in front of London School, because I sit out there myself to deliver a child. So how do you determine when they're going to show up and when they're not? And if they're there and they're sitting in their vehicle the whole time, except when they see someone cross, I worry, these big trucks coming down Main Street, they don't care how many cars have got their signal on, pulled as far as they can over to the curb. They try and work their way through.
Seen it personally.
Yes. So my thing is, I don't know if that falls on the school and the police officers that work for the schools, or if we need to have someone there every day and they actually need to be, unless a lot of rain, they need to be standing out at all times of that vehicle. I've noticed that when the cop is outside the vehicle, the cars slow down, but if they're sitting in the vehicle because no one is crossing at the time, the cars are just doing, and I know the school has signs up saying right turn only. Well, they turn left anyway with the police car sitting there. They'll go ahead and make the left. And I'm sure you've seen, I'm scared to death somebody's gonna.
It's hard. It's hard. I do the crossings, and it's hard to try to enforce and provide crossing services for the children at the same time. Now, we make every effort to have a officer there in the mornings and in the afternoon, okay? Sergeants on day shift are aware of that. I've worked day shift, I know. When we're available, we are there. Now, there are gonna be times if we're short on the shift, or we have other calls that are taking precedence, an injury, accident, or something like that, it may delay or prevent us from being there.
Right.
But we do make that a priority in the morning and in the afternoon. That I can promise you.
Should the police for the school system get a call when you all can't be there, that they need to?
Well, they do have responsibilities on school grounds and while they're receiving children.
Yeah.
There at the same time.
They,
We do the best we can with it.
Yeah, the school system police, Laurel County School System, is a separate, actually, police force
Right.
from the city police force. I helped set that up with Bobby Day.
You all communicated all those?
Provided,
Yes.
Jimmy,
well,
when
they
we're
know
up
they
there-
provide the security there for the children. It's their first obligation to do that. We're more in the secondary role.
We're in an assist position,
Yeah.
and we're happy to assist them with that. But yes, Officer Maggard works London Elementary,
Yes.
and we're usually talking all the time. He'll walk out, if there's anything going on, anything we need to know about, any upcoming events, we communicate with Officer Maggard frequently.
Larry, when you say Laurel County, that would include the schools in the city school system as well, correct?
Yes. So, and we've had this discussion, other people's reached out to me about this, and they've said, city police, but that's what we face is when there's multiple calls, we can't stay there. We'd like to be able to provide that service constantly. Now, we can talk about, if council's wanting to do that, we'll have to talk about some numbers and what that looks like, but we can provide that service. But we're just going to have to make some adjustments, especially, the cuts we just made.
Yeah, it's just a very dangerous situation in the mornings there, and so that was
It
on
does.
my mind.
It does, but with staffing, and sometimes if somebody's off, it puts shorts the shift just a little bit, and if we have other pressing calls, we have to answer those first.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief, with all the snow and ice that we just had, did you have any accidents, any vehicle accidents from the department?
We had
City vehicles?
one.
You had one?
The public
No, I take
did
that back.
really good about staying home during that. They really did.
I take that back, Mr. Ortega. I had to think for a second. We had two.
Is that because we need more four-wheel drive SUVs, or is it car versus SUV issue? Should we?
SUVs are great in inclement weather, but one, we had an officer parked his vehicle at his residence, and it slid on the ice. He wasn't even in it, so I don't think anything would help that.
Yes, sir.
But obviously, SUVs are more conducive to inclement weather, yes.
Is that everything? Thank you.
Chief, I do have one question. There is and this has to do with the 911 board. I don't know if it would relate to the police department or fire. There's a meeting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. They're having a
Yes.
special called meeting. And I think third on the agenda is SJIS Management Control. Do you know what that is?
Yes, it's information security, criminal justice information security, and they are looking into a few things. There may or may not have been a procedural error, and we're working to figure that out,
So there may be an error.
possibly.
And is there any discussion on moving our 911 center that you know of?
Not that I know of yet, no, sir.
Okay.
I don't think he has been able to serve on the board yet. I think this will be the first, is this the first meeting?
I went to one, and
One,
then
okay.
tomorrow's a special call, so it'll be my second meeting on
So
that.
you don't know anything, Mayor?
I don't know nothing about that meeting tomorrow night.
Okay.
Just heard it
I
probably
saw
a
that.
few
I was
hours
concerned.
ago.
I thought I'd ask you while you were up, so, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Mayor, just for the record, who currently serves on that board, sir?
It would be the chief automatically serves on it, or the acting chief, and then it's Drew Jackson serves on it. And who else? And Bobby Day from the police department side. Then Donnie Hale serves on it as well. I think that's all the city appointments. Next thing on the building inspector, Josh, if you want to come give your report.
So I want to start off by saying usually the winter months, starting in November, it starts to slow down for the building department a little bit. People are obviously not building as much when the weather's bad as they are in the summer, spring, summer, and fall months. So it looks like we issued 11 building permits last month, bringing in a total of $1,349.50. We've conducted roughly 6 to 7 inspections a day on those projects that we have open, not counting these, but others that have been open in the past. As far as parking tickets, what I've been having the code enforcement officers do in lieu of writing tickets is approach those people and say, hey, you can't park in the fire lane, or you need to move your vehicle out of the fire lane, or just trying to be more courteous to the individuals if there's someone there and we can get them to move their vehicle rather than writing a ticket. Looks like we opened up 3 new cases in code enforcement, and then when dealing with the fire on Main Street there, we had to get a structural engineer to do an evaluation of the building. The wall closest to 4th Street there is structurally compromised, and that's why that street is closed. The engineer did recommend that wall come down. So that's why that street's been closed and will more than likely remain closed until that portion of the buildings at least has been demolished. We also served a notice for restaurant taxes, for unpaid restaurant taxes. And, then we had a Board of Adjustments meeting where we approved the meeting minutes from one of the previous meetings. And then we had a planning and zoning meeting where they made a recommendation for a gentleman that's wanting to construct some duplexes to present his information to the Code Enforcement Board, the Board of Adjustments for a conditional use hearing. And outside of that, we field 5 to 10 phone calls a day just in regards to planning and zoning. And we did not issue any floodplain permits for this month.
Mr. Wilson, is there any update? And when I took office last year, I spoke with Brian Johnson and Eric about this. Is the building permit ever going to be able to be purchased online and filled out?
We've looked at that. IT has done a great job at building an in-house program. We've looked at programs in the past, and to save the city money, we coordinated with the IT department to build a program. There's programs out there that fully automate that system, but they run anywhere from $7,000 a year up from there. Some of them as high as $20,000 a year. When I first came in, that was a goal of mine, was to make a paperless process, to try and be as much digital as possible. I try to model our department after what the Department of Housing, Buildings, and Construction does. So we've discussed that, but, you can have an online portal where the documents are, it's basically emailed in and they fill out online forms and stuff, but we haven't discussed a way to really clean that up and make it a clean process. Right now, I do accept permits daily that are, they email me the construction documents. I'll email them the permit applications and any documentation that they need to pay. They'll call and pay over the phone a lot of times. And then I'll email them back the permits. So it's pretty much the same process. It's just a little more hands-on without an automated system.
So residents and builders looking for permits, they can email you
Absolutely.
all that information.
All day
and then
long.
just pay the price over the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically what I do is they'll email me the construction documents. I start reviewing them. And then I email them back, hey, I need the following documents. I'll attach them to that email. I'll calculate their fee, and I'll, give them instructions on either mailing a check or bringing a check to City Hall or calling, the City Hall number to pay by phone.
And I did have one question, and I don't know if the mayor might have an answer for this, but when it comes to code enforcement, was there any issues with the ice and the snow and some abandoned cars that just sit there for months and months and months?
Abandoned cars we've had calls in the past about abandoned vehicles. Typically, we contact the police department. Code enforcement tries to work with police department, fire department, and any other. And that's one thing I did forget to mention. During this inclement weather, we went out to known homeless encampments, and we did get a lot of people off the streets that would have more than likely froze to death. We found gentlemen sleeping in sleeping bags directly on the ground, people in tents, tarps. We were able to successfully convince most of them to seek warmer shelter, get them in touch with someone that would put them in a motel room, get them to a warming shelter, get them fed. We had blankets that we were passing out. That was part of our strategy as code enforcement. We get a lot of calls on where those encampments are at, so we just started visiting those places and trying to do an outreach. And if we seen people just walking, we stopped, hey, you got somewhere to go? Are you okay? just trying to help them get through that storm.
Thank you.
But back to your question about the cars, we don't get a whole lot of calls about abandoned vehicles.
All right, thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Next thing would be the fire chief.
Hello, everyone. I want to reiterate the teamwork that London has done during this storm also. I mean, everybody worked together as one, and it all come together and was excellent outcome at the very end. Excellent teamwork by the fire department and everybody. We actually, this past month, we've done 217 calls. Actually, 4 structure fires, several EMS calls, and a few good intents and things of that nature. And that's basically all I've got.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you, Donnie. In your packet, you do have from the IT department as well. It's not on your guys' agenda, but you do have a report from the IT department, and you do have a report from John Allen, the rescue squad, as well, outlining that. Speaking about the departments, from the 23rd until the 28th, there was a total of 642 calls. We transported across all departments 107 people. There were 20 welfare checks. They were in a total of extra patrols, 74. A lot of them was we categorized the city and we sent different departments out checking on people that had no power. If the power was out, first of all, we wanted to make sure that we were doing checks every 2 hours, especially on our seniors. A lot of them didn't want to leave their homes, which I don't blame them, but we wanted to make sure that they had the necessities that they needed. We did delivered, it looks like 4 different fuel deliveries and assisting people there. We did deliver the departments themselves. Now, our emergency response team, we were nearing somewhere around 80 deliveries of food, but as a department for the city, it was 4. The hospital and residential checks, we did 275 in total. So medical checks, they were 49. Motorist assistant, we helped 35 in that time frame as well, just getting people from their vehicles to a safe place. And then we did, as a total, we did 3 deliveries for medications. So really proud of this team. I think if you've seen in LEX 18, they were even bragging on the City of London and the response that your department heads and our department heads in the city, something we should be very proud about. So to have people not only here, but across the state that were bragging on what of a well job that London had done. So this is not on your agenda, but I did bring a resolution tonight, 2026-01. If the council would allow us to add this to the agenda, I would like the clerk to read this. And it's basically the council and myself thanking the departments for all their hard work during this storm. Is it okay?
Yes, I'd say go ahead.
Can I get a motion to add resolution number 2026-1?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Then do your roll call.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
The clerk shall read.
Resolution number 2026-01, a resolution of the City of London expressing gratitude and appreciation to city employees for their dedicated service during a state of emergency. Whereas the City of London relies on the professionalism, commitment, integrity of its employees to provide essential public services and to ensure the efficient and effective operation of city government. Whereas during a declared state of emergency involving severe snow and ice conditions, city employees responded with exceptional dedication to snow and ice operations, public safety, infrastructure maintenance, and essential services. Whereas despite hazardous conditions and extended operational demands, city employees ensured that critical services continued without interruption. And whereas city employees consistently demonstrated resilience, teamwork, and a strong sense of public service by working long hours and under challenging conditions to protect the safety, well-being, and quality of life of the community. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of London that hereby expresses its sincere thanks and appreciation to all city employees for their hard work, professionalism, and unwavering commitment during the state of emergency, and be it further resolved that the London City Council and Mayor Randall Weddle commend our employees for their outstanding performance during snow and ice operations and extend its gratitude on behalf of the entire community of the City of London. Adopted the second day of February, 2026.
Can I get a motion to accept?
Motion to accept.
Second.
The roll call.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
If everybody would join me in giving a round of applause to the city workers.
Ashley?
Ms. Weddle, before we move on, I did have some questions from the council, and I'm backtracking a little bit on the rescue squad report. Are you aware, is that just for the city? I know like 911, it's an interlocal, and they do city and county. Are these numbers reflected of all of their activities or just the city? I didn't know. It doesn't say on that report.
Yeah, John, do you want to speak on this? He's out there. I didn't even know he's. Do you want to come up to the mic so they can? Sorry, I didn't even see John, or I'd have had him come up.
Thank you, Chief.
Pass that resolution back.
Thank you all.
Pass that down, sir.
It's for the entire county. I don't have it broke down, city or county. As you can see in that, we had 57 weather transports. The biggest majority of those was dialysis patients that we got. Matter of fact, we're still doing them as we speak. For weather assist, that was probably where we've taken some type of food. We've even been out delivering dog food as far as that goes. Light duty rescues, we had 31, and that is a wide spectrum of what that is. That's any time a first out rescue truck goes out of the building. Could be a motor vehicle accident, could be, any kind of technical rescue as far as that goes. We had 3 calls that we had with canine dogs, and actually one of those calls was actually in Macquarie County. And we had 2 drone operations. A lot of those drone operations will be on assisting on a search or could be assisting a law enforcement here in the county. We had 2 off-road incidents. We had 6 people this month that we had to extricate from a mangled vehicle that was involved in a motor vehicle accident. We had 1 child locked in a car, 1 elevator rescue, 2 fire service assistants. We assisted here in the city on the Main Street fire. We supplied air for their breathing air, and we've also requested for the big fire in Williamsburg, I guess last week, to do the same for them. We had 9 EMS assistance calls, and most of the time right now in this weather, that was probably from taking a side-by-side to make access to a patient because the roads, the ice, vehicles couldn't go. 1 motor assist, but a total of 120 calls for the month.
Chief Allen, how's that new vehicle that we got you approved?
The new rescue truck?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it works really well, yes.
Perfect. That's good to
Yeah.
hear.
We've got it loaded down, and it'll do what it needs to do here for the county and the city.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Thank you all.
Thank you, John.
Mayor, and he brought up something, and it made me think, on our sidewalks during this storm, they're basically impassable. Of course, what happens is the snowplow comes by, throws it up on the sidewalk, then you have these single-digit temperature. You can't do anything with it. I know several years ago, and I think the fire department or Rescue Squad 1 did it, I think, is they had a small side-by-side or a UTV of some kind with a blade on it, and they actually worked the sidewalks. And I've actually seen it today where people walking actually had to walk out in the street. Of course, once that temperature got down and you can't, there's nothing you can do. But does the city own something like that
The
maybe
issue
during the
that
next storm that we could?
The issue that we had with that is our main priorities was the arteries. That's where we first
Sure.
focused on. Well, and then getting the secondaries during the, this whole storm. Well, time we got around to being able to where it's okay, sidewalks are now a priority for us to get to, they had hard froze. I mean, it's like concrete in a lot
it
of
is.
places. So me and Philip was actually just the other day looking at a piece of equipment, because even if we take that little side-by-side, we still do have that and we were using it. But it still doesn't do the job to get that kind of ice and stuff up. So we were actually looking at a piece of equipment that it could be used for multiple things, just not for that instance. That would be smaller to get onto the sidewalks, because that's another thing we have. There's certain parts of Main Street that we can get the side-by-side on, but there's other parts that's not ADA compliant and we cannot get to. We don't have a piece. So we did find something, though, that would allow us to do that in the future. But street department, like today, they have been out trying to manage
Well,
some of these.
they were working on this corner
Yeah,
down here. I think they actually
Yeah.
had a propane torch
yeah.
trying to do it. And I know, once that temperature gets cold, and you can't do anything with it.
But we do agree with you, Mr. Baker. We need some type of a piece of equipment that we can.
And somebody that's, some department, whether it's street or whether, I think even in the past, years ago, I think some of the fire department actually got at it.
And they do. They do help there, and they were a big help. It was the fire department, and they do it every year, but it was just the amount that we were getting. It was just a task to
quick
keep up
freeze,
with what
yeah.
we had.
And you've always had some individuals that helped out also that weren't employees. They'd bring their equipment and help, so we didn't have that this year, so.
Okay. Is there any other question about the department head reports? We'll move on there. The next thing you guys had on your agenda was full-time, part-time, and temporary. So we have a total of 129 employees. It is 19 of them are part-time, 110 full-time employees. And you have this roster in your packets. Is there any questions about that? The next, go ahead.
I know that in the ordinance that we passed last month, that on state or city-owned vehicles, that if an employee wasn't on call, those were to remain at their designated work site, office or whatever, unless that employee was on call. Is that taking place?
Currently, everybody is on call for this, the disaster portion that we've been in, so,
Okay, so once that emergency disaster is lifted,
yeah, we'll have to address it then, correct.
okay.
Any other questions about the head count? The next thing, on B and C, we'll knock both of these out going through this. Every month, you guys are provided with, via email and in your packets, it's a budget tracker is what we call it. And it breaks down like, for instance, we closed out December, so this is from December the 1st until December the 31st. It shows you the amount December actual balance, the year-to-date actual balance, the budget total, and the remaining amount that's to be received. At that first page, if you look at it, you'll see all of the revenues. That's at the very first page. As you flip to the second page, it shows you all the revenues. So for December, actual balance was $1.440825.09. The actual year-to-date balance was $8,816,994.11. And then if you look at your budget total, you budgeted $20,599,000. The year-to-date remaining for that revenue total would be $11,782,005.89. Is there any questions about the revenue portion? And it gives you a total breakdown, and sorry to the public that we was going to put it up on a screen tonight, but we didn't get a chance to do it. but it shows you every source of revenue throughout the city in this breakdown on the budget. The next thing you'll move to, it shows you council and salaries. It shows you that you guys, for instance, we'll just use this because it's going to be consistent for every department. The salaries for council was, for the actual balance for December was $4,782.10. The year-to-date actual balance was $19,144.18. You budgeted $45,000, and you have a remaining of $25,855.82. So, and again, if you go down through that entire breakdown, it shows you salaries, Medicare expense, Social Security expense, retirement expense, health insurance expense, dental insurance expense, unemployment expense, life insurance expense, newspaper publication, pretty much everything that's on the breakdown. Professional fees and annexation, there's a zero there. You didn't budget nothing in that line item. But utilities, gas and water, same thing. If you go across through there, what was actually balanced was $9,506.33. For the year-to-date, actual balance was $19,024.43, and the year-to-date budget total was $35,000. So you have a remaining of $15,000. If you flip over to the mayor's salary, the same thing. It shows you what the actual balance for December. It shows you the year-to-date balance for the 2025. It shows you the 54, for the 6 months in, and then the 54,000 is what's budgeted out there. It shows you there's a remaining of $33,746.84. If we go to attorney salary, that was zeroed out in the budget, but you have an attorney professional fees. For December, actual balance was $64,774.70. The year-to-date balance is $127,762.15. The budget was $125,000, so that would put us in a negative of $2,762.15. You do have.
So Mayor, there was $64,000 billed in attorney fees for the month of December?
That is correct. Well, it's attorney fees and professional fees, so it's not just an attorney. That's
Sure.
anything that would be professional fees outside of that. So that could be, several different things, whether it's newspaper publications to, we have an engineer look at something. All that comes out of your professional fees.
My billing for that time in January was for 4 months. I had not been paid. So my attorney fee, it was not 64,000, but it was much less.
Neither was mine, Mr. Bryson. I haven't billed for December yet, so I'm wondering where that 64,000.
But that includes everything, all the fees that the city
All the
has to pay
professional
for.
fees across the city.
Across the
Correct. It's just not attorney fees.
Well, other than like an engineer, what other professional fees will be coming out of that?
Some of those like Josh was talking about.
Okay.
So is there not a budget set up under, if it comes under Josh, but you brought him up, I'm not picking on you, Mr. Wilson. I mean, why wouldn't that be charged to building inspection?
Well, because again, I think the process of the city has always done it, is put it in underneath the council in the professional fees. It's just been a practice. I think if you go back, it's probably been the last 15 or 20 years.
I'm just saying to help people understand who's spending the money. I mean, and I would even suggest that for
Well,
attorney
obviously,
professional fees.
as a whole, because we're not divided. This is one city,
Oh,
one
agreed.
team.
But,
So-
I think people do need to understand what's driving the expenses.
Well, I do think, though, that you've got it now, you have added the city council attorney professional fees, which is $115,000. So you did separate that in the new budget.
So that's completely separate from the 60.
Correct. So, but this would be from the budget you guys just passed, so we started the line item for that. Which we have talked to Chris Weiss about that. And then you have like the attorney review updated ordinance, it's all zeroed out. You have attorney office supply and publications, $3,500 there. Clerk salaries, we spent $23,244. The year-to-date was $171,775.96. You budgeted $390,000. We have $218,224.04 left in that budget. So out of the 6 months in the past, we spent $171. We have $218,000 left for the salary portion. If you go down through there, it shows you the Medicare, Social Security, any type of printing expenses that we have, like coming out for the printing or the postage meter that we have, which we mail out a lot of stuff there. The cleaning supplies, that would be for City Hall. Office supplies expenses, which would be for everybody upstairs, the clerks and everybody in City Hall. You have miscellaneous expenses there as well. We spent $386.50. The total budget was $500. Obviously, we don't lease anything for their new equipment. $3,000 was allotted, $3,000 still remains. Training, that's for KLC, and there's things that the clerk has to do and the other clerks will have to take that's required. And so obviously we've spent year-to-date $682.42. You budgeted $2,000, so that left $1,300.17 and 58 cents. So
Would the mayor be opposed to sending this format to the council folks? And they did get it on email today, but you send it in PDF form. Is there opposition to sending that to them in Excel or some sort of?
We'll work that out, but no, because this is something we talked to Chris about. The software that we have, you cannot corrupt it. So when you pull the data and if you look on this thing here at the bottom, one thing I love about our system, you'll see that on Monday, February the 2nd, 2026 at 8:05 a.m., Dylan pulled this report.
Right.
We don't care to send you something or work with you guys for you guys to do that, but coming from my office, I'd rather the staff stay to a more concrete document that's time-stamped to show what is and isn't being done. Excel can be changed, this cannot.
And I agree with that, and I certainly think the official documents can come from Dylan or whomever you choose to run these reports.
But why would can I ask Christie, and it's not being objective or anything,
No.
why would we need an Excel format of this?
Well, if they have it in Excel, they can pull it, they can do adds and sums, they can add columns from the original budget format and look at what's coming in and what's going out. Because your columns, and they're very helpful. I'm not trying to criticize on your report, but I mean, we're doing some serious due diligence on the garbage fund as an example right now. And so I think that needs to be a column on here. That needs to be on there. What is budgeted, we have an ordinance that we have now tabled till June.
So do you want to skip to sanitation?
Do I want to skip? I don't know.
Skip down to sanitation. So if you go to page 9, so you'll see on page 9, we have, let's see here, it starts street salaries. We can start there. But throughout this budget tracker that you guys get every month, it shows every department. And so what we do, when you pass a budget, we go in there at the beginning of that budget year and we put what you guys said can be spent. And that would be in your year-to-date budget total. So that goes in that column. So if we go to sanitation, for instance, and so we say salaries, for the month of December, we spent $64,970.88. The year-to-date balance is $527,854.05. You budgeted $1.4 million. We have left of that budget $872,000. And if you go down through there, Medicare, Social Security, retirement, health insurance, dental, unemployment insurance, life insurance, Collection and billing expenses, which is zeroed out. Building maintenance, you have $78.78 for the month of December. Actual balance was $1,058.35. You budgeted $500,000. We have a remaining of $941.65. So you have vehicle maintenance, and if you look to the very left of this in sanitation, you'll see numbers 001, 0041, 0230. That's code identifiers that we use internally at City Hall
Right.
for the account. That's what that pertains to that number. But you.
The sanitation's a good conversation, but it's a bit simplistic because all of it is garbage fund. What there are other insurances, unemployment, fringe, if you will, and things, that this doesn't, in the budget, it lays out. Is it from general fund? Is it from garbage fund?
So the explanation of that, and I'm glad that you've asked this, all expenses, for the most part, there is a few exceptions, come through general fund. It's like any other company set up, and it's always been set up that way in the city, which is just good business sense. You have your payrolls and everything that comes out of the general fund.
Mm-hmm.
The other accounts do a reimbursement of anything like, because, for instance, our PO system, when a PO is issued for, let's say, a piece of equipment down at sanitation, you know, you guys, we just bought a truck, for instance. We do the leaf blow back system. It was $140,000. It comes out of the general funds. If it had been a sanitation item, which it was not, then sanitation would have eventually had to reimburse general fund some point in that year. So that is what happens. So in this case, you don't have where it is all the POs and all these expenses are coming out of the sanitation account itself, nor does it happen in the alcohol account either. It's just reimbursements. But the dollars are tracked, like I said, if you look at the account number to the side and the amounts, that's how they're tracked from that account to the general fund. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So.
I just am looking for, I mean, the analysis can be done on this and refer back. It just saves a lot of time if you put it in a format that's easier to follow. It's not about manipulating your data, it's just about.
No, don't think that I was saying that you was. I just don't want to be sending documents out of City Hall that are fallible. I would rather, if you guys want this in Excel, I mean, they get this every month, just drop the numbers down in an Excel file.
Well, you can't drop them in an Excel file the way you send them.
You're correct. You'd have to probably
And if you
do a
run
convert. You could probably convert the document.
If you run an Excel out of your system, it should not corrupt your system. It just creates a whole.
No.
Or a CSV.
I'm not saying that our system would be corrupt. I just don't want to be sending documents that can be altered or changed from City Hall in any format. This is a clean document that says this is what we have spent. And again, I'd have to get Dylan to do the same thing, most likely what you're suggesting, to go through and insert these in an Excel file or do you can just convert from the PDF to Excel.
Mayor, I don't mean to interrupt you. I think this is something that we could all, or you and Chrissy could possibly discuss after the meeting.
Be more than glad to. So going on, you'll see that even the breakdown continues and goes on. The dumping expenses, you guys have, we spent $73,000 in just dump fees. The year-to-date was $418,554.29. You budgeted $1 million. We have $581,000. I want to take just a second so you guys have a clear understanding of the significance of this. So one of the things that we do in our roundtables every month, which you guys are still invited anytime you want to attend them, is that we talk about these numbers. And if you look for 25, which is halfway through the year, as you said, Mr. Ortega, we've spent $418,000. So that means I can look at this and say, you are on point to stay within the budget which we monitor this every month. But Philip, you have about 581,000. That's an example of any of these line items when we go through. And if we catch that they're getting close, that's something that we tell them, you can't spend no more, or this is where you're at. So to help you understand that.
Now, that state of emergency, do we get reimbursed for that from the state?
So, to my knowledge and my understanding is that the President Trump did issue funding through FEMA for this disaster across the United States. So, we do believe so. We are tracking as if that is what the case has been. Through KYM, we did talk to them, so we've set it up just like we did with the tornado tracking. So, yeah, we do believe it's going to be, a lot of it will be reimbursed. Brandon Wagers has done a fantastic job in that, so we're really proud of him and all the efforts of even the department heads in keeping track with all that stuff. Is there any other questions or any numbers that we need to talk about that maybe I did not hit in your expenditures, anything that you are wanting to know? So do you feel like I have satisfied B and C? Okay. And if you have any questions about this budget tracker, feel free to call Dylan or myself, and we don't care a bit to go over it with you.
Mayor,
Yeah.
on sanitation, I'm on page 10.
Page 10.
Yeah, just, maybe 10 spots down. Drug testing. We spent no money this year on drug testing.
So if you go to
I
this
mean,
year
and I'm not picking on drug testing, I just noticed there's zeros.
in
over across it.
sanitation,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
there's no allotted, you didn't put nothing in the budget for drug testing there. If you look, it's all zero.
Okay.
But if you will go to page 6 with me, I want to
6.
show you this so you understand. If you go to risk management,
How far down are you?
if you just, about halfway in the page, it's the first set of numbers you get to. Everything else is zero on this page. But a little over half, you'll see
Yeah.
balance,
I see
actual.
it. I see it.
Drug testing.
Yeah, I
So you did put funding in it in the risk management section.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have year-to-date spent $955. You budgeted $4,000, $3,045 is
Yeah.
left. Okay?
And that policy is still in the personnel handbook for the city of London, correct? That all employees are drug tested?
Every employee that works in this city has been drug tested, and every employee in this city gets random drug tests done. Well, I won't say every, it's random. We don't draw the numbers or the names. They send it to HR, and then we send them.
Is there a service that does that, Mayor? I mean,
Yeah, Job Shop was doing it, and I think they still are. It's transitioned now. Okay. Dog Patch.
That answered my question.
Mayor,
If there's a person that's in, I'm sorry, if there's a person who's involved in operating under a CDL, garbage truck, for example, and they're involved in an accident, they're required to be drug tested. So that's
is
That's
that
not
only,
city,
is
that's-
that only for CDL drivers or all drivers?
CDL.
All employees, every employee that is hired in this city has a drug test on file with HR.
But Mr. Bryson was talking about post-accident drug test.
No, any accident in the city, it's according to the degree of it. If they slip and fall, it's up really the discretion of the department heads, but if you wreck something, hit something, damage something, you're going for a drug test. Make sure, hold on, come to the mic so the public can hear you as well.
I believe Larry was talking about the legal requirement. That's separate from our policy. So legal requirement, your DOT drivers and stuff are a little more stringent on the testing they have to take. So we're required by the law, but we go over what the law says in our policy and we follow that. So that's why the mayor's saying every employee, Larry's saying DOT drivers. Mayor's talking about policy, he's talking about law.
But it's every driver, right?
Yeah, every employee. And any,
I'm specifically referring to post-accident right now.
yeah, absolutely. Every employee who's in a post-accident situation does get a drug test done.
And council, you're more than welcome. I invite you to come up City Hall, and we'll be more than willing to let you see our drug testing policy, our procedures, and see the files, and see all the drug tests on every single employee that works in the city.
How often does drug testing take place per employee? Is it just random or?
It's just random. They send us a number of employees that we pull, and then we pull the names out of the list that's sent to us.
Does everybody get drug tested once a year anyway, or something like that, or it just?
I'm not going to honestly tell you that everybody gets drug tested, because there's some of them that has been drug tested. They get hit every test, and then we tell them, we've drug tested this employee 10 times this year. Can we not get somebody else? Because it gets exhausting to them too. If they get pulled and they're at home, then they've got to, come in and submit a drug test. So it's the drawing system. And that's one thing that we were combating, because we kept complaining that you're pulling the same names multiple times. We need to make sure that, which we don't have no say and can't have no say in it, but I just think that if you've pulled the same name several times over the course of that year, we're missing people. So we need to be doing something different.
Do you have any more information regarding the budget? I had a question, if you were done, sir.
Yeah,
I do want the other council members to know that every department that we just heard speak, and every department in the budget tracker depends on one thing, and that's IT. And with the up-and-coming annual budget for 2026 going into 2027, I do want us to focus on IT. I feel like IT needs to be looked at. And I'm not trying to put Eric on the spot here. I haven't talked to you since the last meeting, but possibly, is there anything that you wanted to say?
We know.
He's never going to turn down an opportunity to talk.
And again, we haven't spoke since last month, but we had a really good conversation, and even that conversation that we had together when I took office as well.
Yes. The IT department has come a long way. Brian was in with me till, what was it, October? Where'd he go to? Oh, there he was. Was it October, September? September. And we built a lot of programs. We moved the city a lot forward under the mayor's direction and all that. We've come a long way. We still got a long way to go. The funding that we need is for software. We need some software for help. Also, having one IT person is same as having none. If I get sick, something happens, whatever, then who comes in and helps? That's something that I think you all need to think about. On the last budget, you all dwindled it down to one person, and basically that's not going to cut it. We need to really look at that. We also need to look at spending some money for some software. We need to look at updating some systems. We've got a couple of servers that need to be updated. That needs to come in.
Any idea on software right now, if you had a ballpark?
I don't want to tell you something out of context. I really don't. Without getting full numbers, I can't give you an exact amount. Then I don't want to lie to anybody and say, hey, this is what it's going to be, and then come back and say, no, that prices went up, because, as everybody knows, prices of computers have skyrocketed in the past month. if you want me to, I'll try to get that together to see what we need, see what the prices are. Some of the prices we get are gonna be a 60-day or 30-day quote, so those are subject to change. But I agree, the mayor he's allowed us to do a lot of things, allowed us to update, but we still got a long way to go.
Judd, do you want us to try by the next meeting to have some numbers for you guys?
I think it'd be good, you know, we're going into this next budget, we need, as soon as we can get it. That'd be good.
Which numbers are you wanting for the
Softwares.
updating equipment, software?
Yeah, I mean, all of it, right?
Create a wish list.
Okay, we can do that.
You know, after talking to Eric off and on for the past little over a year, and coming from an IT background, he's having to manually go to every laptop, every desktop, and physically update them one at a time. When it's absolutely crazy. When nowadays you should be able to log in remotely and update a laptop from his office. So just something as wasted so many work hours just doing that. You know, that, maybe we could start there.
Anthony, if he had the equipment needed, could one man handle that position?
Absolutely not. No.
So
One is
We
none.
had discussed that when the new budget year came up, we would be definitely looking at everything that has gone on and, you know, hopefully be able to work on that and do some things to help you, so.
And we could talk
I'll
about
be more than glad to talk to you guys about any of that, but like a lot of this stuff, I'm not gonna say openly because of security reasons.
Yeah.
So I can explain it to you more in depth of what we need and what we're looking for. But like I say, we need, one person's not gonna do it.
And a part-time person is, I don't mean to say that they're worthless, because part-time workers aren't worthless, but when you have to learn a trade, especially for a city in certain software, we need another full-time worker.
Mhm. I think they can probably contest to the same thing. They can tell you the same. Because if, you know, there's a lot of times things are going on that I have to drop one thing to go, like right now, we've got a bunch of open records. You good? But we got a bunch of open records and stuff coming in, and it's taken away from every one of us. It's taken away from our jobs, doing open records to try to maintain everything, and it's overwhelming.
And something else that we've talked about too is, you know, the city has no mapping system. Like, LUC, they have a software that they can tell you where the lines and all this stuff is. The city itself doesn't. So like, we don't have a map that we can pull up and gives you the details of this road or that road. And that's part of the things in the IT that we had discussed. That way, first of all, we have the boundaries of the right-of-ways, because a lot of times Philip and we're spending, and we have for the last 3 years, we have to run up to the courthouse, pull it, then we got to sit here and measure, versus having a map that says this is, in every road, believe it or not, in London, is different right-of-ways. So that's something we need to work on, because we're spending a lot of money just in manpower figuring out what we own and what we don't.
Or woman power.
Or
Thank
or
you.
woman
Thank you,
power.
Mayor.
Person power.
Or one power.
We'll be working on the budget. We'll pass a budget, I guess, in June for the next year.
Okay.
So April, I think by April, we'll be working pretty hard on the next budget, or should be.
Yeah.
And is that some numbers that you could have on upgrades in April that we could look at?
I could have quite a few numbers, yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, we probably have it, you know, next month's March, but I mean, we could be starting talking about it.
Yes.
Because
I'll start.
June will be here quickly.
Yes. I've already started working on the upcoming budget, so.
Yeah. Good.
But yeah, I'll have those numbers for you. All right?
Thank
Any
you.
other
Thank you.
I have a question. So in order to get this digital mapping put in place for the city, Is that something that you feel like is going to happen soon?
If we can get the funding from you
Okay.
guys,
And
and we'll
then, of
put this
course-
part of the quotes.
And of course, Philip led that at the Utility Commission, so we've got
Yeah.
the right people in place to, and that will be a huge improvement. I don't think everybody really fully understands.
Yeah.
When Philip explained this to me years ago, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And the savings of labor, the accuracy, everything is so important, so I'll make it a top priority.
This might be a silly question, but if the LUC already has something in place, can we not piggyback off that?
Well, we thought about it, but their issues is where theirs is looking at underground, it's the lines. They got scared that if somebody messed with that, with the systems and messed something up or did something, it just wasn't a great idea. I don't think that, because we did talk to the commission about it, thinking we could probably go that route. Because again, when you're having to spend so much time in that courthouse, figuring out deeds that sometimes we've went back to the early 1900s trying to figure out what we own, so we're not outside of our right-of-ways. It ultimately was a decision we'd have to wind up getting our own. And two, it's just the system that we really need is going to be able to show a very detailed grid of, like this sidewalk, for instance, how far these men can go over. And some of these systems will do that. They will tell them that you have reached the boundary.
And I was going to ask the same question about the PVA mapping system, which I use all the time myself, and it's available online.
We do, but that system is fallible. If you look at the PVA system itself online, none of the lines are drawn correctly.
Yeah.
And then they don't show any right-of-way boundaries.
Yeah, I don't know what they have on the side, I never
Yeah.
look at the sidewalk.
If you actually go to your plat on the PVA, like it will, the lines they
Yeah, the
have
meets and
drawn,
bounds.
it's like off sometimes up to an inch on the screen, so, which they do a fantastic job over, it's just the system they have.
Any other questions?
That's it, Eric, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
So if that's all the questions from council on those things, we'll move into new business. I know that the first reading of the 2607, we're reading that one, but I think the 06 is what we're tabling, right? We're going to table the 06?
There was some requests for some language changes on the 06, which would create another first reading with those changes. So
Okay.
rather than read this, and it feels redundant, but we're
Okay.
happy to discuss that if you want to discuss it.
No, that's fine.
And letting the public know what that is, that's that ordinance.
That's
on-
for the council meeting sound. where you-
Sure, and Eric had even talked to us earlier, a couple of us, about that language. So that, just saying, so that the public will know what it is that we're
Yeah, we're
consider-
talking about adding like 4 or 5 words is all, and no big changes.
About the video
Yeah.
portion of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll do the first reading for ordinance number 2026-07. This is related to the mayor compensation. Before she reads that, and I had sent an email to Chris, can someone just explain the city administrator portion of this?
I'll be happy to, Mayor. This, in doing the pay and classification team and doing the due diligence for the surrounding municipalities regarding compensation levels, one of the things that stood out was that we have a full-time mayor position in what we have, the way we have it, our government set up here. And the council, the team felt very strongly that it's a full-time job, it's a real job, and they want to encourage all levels of citizens that are willing to take on that responsibility to run for that job, not just rich people, I mean, to put it bluntly. So
or old retard guys.
they wanted to address that pay, and then if it happened to be a person that wanted to, and if the pay and classification plan, if they wanted to allow a council to make changes, if the mayor said, I need an administrator, I can't work full-time for whatever reason, that's just an option that's in there. So they wanted to leave some options open. but it is, and by statute, this has to be done prior to May 1st, and it cannot take effect until the next term. So it's an unknown mayor that's going to get this, at this point, that's going to get this salary. There's no individual in mind. It was just a holistic goal of really paying the job as a full-time job. I mean, the current salary, it hasn't been addressed for a number of years. Larry, you might can speak to the last time it was addressed.
No, it has been addressed. There is a separate statute that allows for that to be addressed and an increase. You usually contact the Department of Local Governments for that. It's referred to, you all that have been to the KLC, I think they refer to it as the bouncing ball. It's basically an inflation adjustment that's been made since it came into play. So that is a little bit different. When you said a while ago that there was a team that was recommending.
Yeah,
this,
that was all disclosed and provided to you guys on the December.
Who is the team?
It was, who was on that team, Donna Gill? On the budget? On the paying classification. You and Kelly Smith and Jim Baker.
So those are the people who are recommending this.
Correct.
Yeah. Now this, it does, I agree with you, it does what you say, but the position of city administrator, we don't
It does
have-
not currently exist. That is
No,
correct.
It doesn't exist.
Correct.
So why are you doing an ordinance allowing for that when it doesn't exist?
Well, that is if the mayor and the council, whoever those folks may be, decide that that is the structure they want to follow. The ordinance is already in place, and then they would only have to change the paying classification.
Well,
If
wait,
the mayor
no,
decides
there's a little more to it than that. KRS 838.080, this we agree, I think, that this is a non-elected position. We agree?
On the city administrator,
Yes.
correct.
Okay. Part of that requires the title of office, I guess there is that, but the powers and duties of the office.
But you're saying is it a non-elected officer position? I'm not sure.
It's a non-elected position because.
Yeah,
that
it would be a
same-
position hired by the
that-
mayor.
That same statute talks about the city clerk, the city manager, if you have a manager commission form of government, which we don't.
No, we do not.
We have a mayor-council
Correct.
form of government. So you don't have a powers and duties of an office like this. It seems to be frankly, a backdoor way of putting a city manager in.
That's what it sounds like.
Well,
Let's keep order, guys. Let's keep order.
But the city manager, Mr. Bryson, the mayor would have to hire that person.
There is no, this statute requires that the duties of that office be enumerated. What does he do, or she? What do they do? We don't know.
They would answer to the mayor. I mean, I wasn't on the committee.
well, I would assume that if they decided to do that, that's when those duties would be enumerated. What is your issue, Mr. Bryson?
You've gotten as my daddy used to say, you've got the cart before the horse.
Yep.
You know, you've not got a description of this position, but you're allowing for it in an ordinance.
To be added to the pay and
And
classification
then-
plan.
And then this doesn't even come into existence.
And whatever
until
mayor,
January.
whatever
Excuse me
mayor,
just a minute, let me finish. I'm old, I'll lose my train of thought. this doesn't come into existence until January 1 of '27.
Correct.
That's correct,
So why do it now?
because you have to.
Because we have to do it before May 1st.
No.
You can't pass this
What
and
makes
give
you
the
think you-
and give the mayor a raise at the current mayor. This has
What-
to go into the next cycle.
This,
Well,
This is-
Mr. Bryson, your objections are noted, and I would suggest the
you
council.
don't know my objections.
I most certainly do, sir.
Now, Chris Weiss said that I could ask you all about this. I'm asking, why are you passing this without any idea of what this person will be doing?
That's up to the mayor and council to decide in 2027.
I know it is, but why are you doing it now?
So if they want to add an administrator and the mayor go part-time in 2027 or beyond, it's not even about just 2027.
What does the administrator?
But what does it hurt that it happens now? I don't understand your argument, Mr. Bryson.
If there's a
And-
is someone going to make a motion for this? If not,
Why are you?
Well, we've got to read it.
Why are you allowing for this?
Mr. Bryson, do you think the mayor's salary is too low, or what's your thoughts on that?
With everything he's doing, probably so.
Yeah. And that's where we
that's
stand.
what we agree on as well.
Let's keep order, please. Let's keep order. I think what Larry's just trying to say is the way that when we read the ordinance, again, we didn't have any discussions about the ordinance, which your council, I think the question was, in the way that this reads, and everybody understands it's going to be in 2027, that essentially, here's what my concern is with it. The people elect a mayor, and they elect you guys, and we're accountable, and we will come a day of election that we will stand for the actions we take. When I hire somebody, there is no actions, and I have researched the city administrator, and that position is considered the CEO. That person, and I think there's a few other cities in the state that do it, essentially, your mayor becomes a ribbon cutter and a person that just walks around the city and not doing a whole lot. So all the actions, and granted, the backside of that argument is if the administrator is doing something wrong, then the mayor's going to be kicked out of office. But I think that the way the statute reads is that the mayor is the CEO of the city, and the issue would be exactly what is this administrator's job in this city, and why are we creating this now? And I get why you've done it in B, because you've changed the compensation. If we hire that person, the mayor ultimately will go to $20,000 a year. And then I guess the $55,000, is that what you're thinking, will go to the administrator?
I mean, that should be determined by whomever the mayor and the council would be at that time. I mean, the long and short of it is, the only thing that's applicable is the compensation rate for the mayor, because that's all that's approved on the pay and classification. Until a city administrator is requested, discussed, approved on pay and classification, it's a moot point.
I think raising the mayor's salary is a great idea.
I think so too.
I don't think anybody's going to object with that. Even who wins the next election, they're going to deserve it.
I mean, even
Larry, we've been talking about this mayor's salary since Troy was mayor.
And you did. You tried to do it in
And
2022.
We wanted to raise it, and even then, and there is a certain window that you have to give that salary within. So basically, when I looked at it, it was all just about the mayor getting more money, because I think the mayor deserves more money.
it's
for
a
what they
full-time
did.
position.
Thank you, Kelly.
It's a full-time position, yeah.
I really appreciate
Yeah,
that.
well,
That was
I
very
had-
sweet of you.
I mean, I've had family there. You need more money.
But I think the only concern was the administrator part, and I think that you guys have explained that out, and we'll just, again, I fully understand the mayor has to hire the administrator, and you guys would confirm the position. So that would be a future mayor's problem, if
Right.
if he or she decided they wanted that. Okay, so you want to go ahead and read?
This is an ordinance amending ordinance 2003-07 and the compensation for mayor of the city of London, so ability repealing prior ordinances and effective date. Whereas KRS 83A.070 permits the city council to set the compensation for elected officials, provided it is enacted not later than the first Monday in May in the year the official is elected, and whereas the city council has determined that it is appropriate to revisit that compensation. Now therefore, be it ordained by the city of London, Kentucky as follows. Effective January 1st, 2027, that the compensation of the office of the mayor, city of London, is set as follows. In the event that there is no city administrator or city administrative officer for the city of London, which position must actually be authorized in a pay and compensation plan and filled, the mayor's compensation shall be set at a rate of $75,000 per annum. Or in the event that there is a city administrator or city administrative officer for the city of London, which position is both authorized in the pay and compensation plan and filled, the mayor's compensation shall be set at the rate of $20,000 per annum. This ordinance shall be effective upon publication. However, consistent with KRS 83A.0701, changes in the rate of pay shall not take effect during a current term of office. Further, any ordinances in conflict with this ordinance be repealed to the extent of such conflict. If any section, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is held unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such informality shall not affect the validity of the remaining ordinance.
I move to accept this ordinance.
Need a
As
second?
written.
Second.
Then do your roll call.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda would be an update from me about the recruitment of the chief of police. Well, we have put an ad out. I'm sure that you guys have seen the ad. We've had no one to apply for that.
We looked for the ad and we couldn't find, is it in the Sentinel?
Yes. It ran in the Sentinel, didn't it, actually? Did we not file for the, advertise for the job of the mayor? Well, my bad. I thought we did. We'll do that this week. Yeah. That's okay.
Mayor, just, let's say you receive these applications, what will the process be going forward?
Well, to be honest with you, Judd, we'll probably do what we've always done internally. The department heads go through them as a team, and then we try to get them down to 3 people for everybody that submitted it, and then we select from there. We have a little committee that does all the hiring with any important jobs like that.
In the past, and the only reason I'm saying this is in the past,
You have a low voice and
I
you
do.
keep talking fast.
The Mayor Rudder formed a subcommittee, let us be a part of the interview process, and then we would make a recommendation to the mayor based on that, and that's something that maybe, I don't know, maybe you could consider.
I'm not objecting to that idea at all.
Just something to think
Yeah.
about. It's something we did in the past, and it worked really well.
Yeah, I'm not objecting to that ideal, Judd.
Mayor, but you
I just want to make sure that I'm not giving up my executive powers either.
Mayor, would you object to have somebody on the hiring board from the community?
No, absolutely not. I would love that. I'd have no objections to that at all. So that's a great idea, Mr. Ortega. Anytime we can get input from the community and have people that love the city, when I'm all for it. My apologies. I thought we had advertised, but it's okay. We'll get it out. My apologies. It'll be done this week.
Are you planning on advertising anywhere besides, like, are you going to go Lexington, Louisville, any of the metropolitan
Well, generally
areas?
what we do is we'll, once it comes out in the paper, we'll try to post it on social media as well. I mean, we can put it, Brian, we could probably get it on Indeed and stuff
I
like
was
that.
going to ask, I don't even know if the city uses like an Indeed or LinkedIn or anything like that.
We don't have any automated systems with that, but we can.
I mean, it's something we can do. We don't object to it.
Well, I mean, recruiting's not easy for any business. I can't imagine it's any different for a municipality.
Yeah.
Mayor, is there any system for law enforcement that the position could be posted?
Like
In
the
like-
Fraternal Order of the Police?
Yes,
They
thank
have
you.
like a,
Something like that?
Good.
There's better publications than that. but they could run in trade magazines of that nature. We did the same thing at the Utility Commission when they were looking for a superintendent. So, and in a lot of those positions at the Utility Commission, because they're more specialized, they will advertise in those trade publications. And I'm sure the chief can get us the names of one or two of those that we could publish in those.
With all great suggestions, we'll look at all of them, and then we'll try to update you by the next meeting on that. So, the next thing on the agenda, I think, is the appointment of Harold Dyke to the Housing Authority Board. You've seen the letter the clerk had sent, my recommendation of appointment of him. I'm just looking for a confirmation for Harold.
Mayor, you'll have to help me. There was a lady that was on the board. Is that-
Judge,
Oh, I'm sorry.
he can't hear you.
I'm terrible, I'm sorry. There was a lady that was placed on the board that resigned, is that correct?
Yeah, so we didn't even have her contact information. We wound up making contact with her, or the chair did, and she said due to health reasons that she was not going to be able to serve on that board.
And she was a Republican, is that correct?
That was done during my impeachment. I didn't fight it, I was just let her stay. So we just, but, I don't know what I don't,
She's a Republican.
okay. So Harold's a Republican too, so.
Are we excuse me, are we backfilling her seat?
Well, there was, for her, when she fell off, correct, he would be taking her place. And then we have a position for a Democrat.
Yeah, did she give a resignation, submit a resignation letter or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Are the council going to be provided a copy of that?
We can definitely do that, yes.
Just because it was Republican heavy, and that's the only board, as I'm sure you guys are aware, that there are requirements about,
It's a 2 and 2 plus
Yeah.
the mayor.
well, or independent or Democrat.
Correct.
I don't know how many independents are,
How many
In the-
currently sit on the board? Ms. Miller is with us today.
Do you want to come up and speak?
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
We currently have one Republican, one Democrat, and so if you, tonight, if you select Harold Dyke, we would have 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat. So we would be in search of 1 Democrat or 1 independent.
So we have
You-
Vanessa,
there's a
or
total
Ms.
of
Miller,
4.
we have you and
Helen.
McCoy.
Helen McCoy.
Okay. 1 Democrat, 1 Republican. I was thinking we had somebody else on there already.
That's
other
the
than-
lady
The lady
that
that we're
resigned.
replacing.
Other than the one that resigned. I thought we had another one
How
on there.
about-
Not that we're aware of.
How
Yin's
about
only
Mildred
confirmed
McCoy?
one
Yeah,
while I was
Mildred-
out.
or
Were there 2
Helen
residents?
McCoy.
Helen,
Were there 2?
yes, it's Helen, myself, and the mayor, who is automatically an ex officio. So if Harold is on there, there would be 2 Republicans, 1 Democrat, so we would be looking to fill 1 more position.
Either Democrat or in.
It would have to be Democrat or independent, that's correct.
Which Harold is a Republican, lifelong resident. I think you all know Harold.
And one thing that I would like to have would be a copy of that resignation letter. And we are clear on the number, there was not another person we're overlooking, is there?
There is no, unless the only thing that we looked back when I was impeached, that Yin's confirmed 1 individual that I didn't fight. We was going to leave her on there.
Would it be appropriate if we tabled this until we get to see the letter of resignation to get everything?
If that's what you guys are wanting to do.
Okay.
Because, Ms. Miller, clearly you can do business
Yeah, with 3.
with 3, correct?
We are waiting for
You
you
have-
all to approve more. That's what we've been waiting for. We do need your work. We need you all to work with us on this so we can continue to work for the Housing Authority in the proper capacity.
But currently, you could do business
Yeah,
with just three.
You have a quorum with three.
Yeah,
So
that's correct.
we have a quorum
Yes.
with
Okay,
three,
okay,
yes. But it would be greatly appreciated if you all would act pretty urgent on this. We would appreciate that. It is
Judd,
definitely
well, why
needed.
don't we do this? If the only hangup is this letter, why don't we just agree that if you guys are going to really consider it Harold and appoint him regardless, then let's appoint him. And until you get in an email, this resignation letter, I will not activate or do anything. But if we send that to you tomorrow, are you guys good with, upon receiving that, appointing Harold?
Well, I'm going to recommend that they not pre-approve. There'll be another special call, Mayor, I'm sure, at some point in this month. We'll need to do the rework on the sound one that's not going to get a second reading. We need a second reading on the mayor. So I know there'll be a special call very shortly.
Mr.
So
Weaver,
I just think it would be cleaner if they had what they're asking for before they vote on it.
Mr. Weaver, did you make a motion to table it, you said?
I did.
I second that.
Okay.
Well, this
the
is
next-
still not going to enable them. They can still,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can
they
still
Yeah,
do
they're
business.
operating.
Yeah,
They're
Yeah.
operating.
You
Do
can
you have,
operate.
do you have anybody in mind for that last position?
We do not. We're going to look.
No. It's hard.
If you have a recommendation, send it to me.
I wish I did.
Mr. Weaver, did you move to table it to when?
Next special
Yeah,
call.
until the letter.
I second.
Do your roll call.
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
So if you guys prepare the agenda next, are you going to add that? So you said we may have a special called. Is that right, Christie?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you'll add that back on.
Or any other appointments that you want confirmed, for sure.
The old business, we're going to move to that. It's the second reading. We're not doing that, so council's going to table. I just need a motion to table 2026-06 until the next meeting that we hold.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Do you roll call?
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Ms. House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Next thing on the agenda is public comment. There is a sign-in sheet. The clerk's going to call your name. We do ask that you stay on topic of what we're discussing here tonight. Obviously, no personal attacks or anything like that. Let's try to keep this in a positive motion. We're moving forward. Let's try to keep it that way. So you will have 2 minutes to speak.
First one, Ms. Webb.
Hi, my name is Kimberly, and I just want to bring up a couple little, I think, hazardous, dangerous spots in the city of London. As you travel 192 and come out 363 East, just in the bad curve, just before you go up the hill beside the Old Smith Grocery, right in that curve, there's a very high drop-off. So if you're driving even a passenger car or a CMV, a commercial motor vehicle, you've got an increased risk of flipping. And I was wondering if the city will consider looking at that. Guardrail, some type of hazardous sign, something to help the drivers.
Where was that at in Elm?
You go out 363 off of 192. Do you know where the last apartment complex is on the right? Isn't that real bad, that curve, just before you go up the hill?
It's right down here behind City Grocery.
Yeah, that's what I'm
What
saying,
used to
but
be.
I'm coming from coming out 363, and in the bad curve, just before you start up the hill at Smith City Grocery, there's a very large drop-off. Right.
It's where they
And from my,
added the blacktop.
yeah, that's where they added blacktop, and I'm a former truck driver. So when I go by that, I'm like, oh, God. Okay, my next thing, being a truck driver also,
That's a state road, but I will talk to the state about that.
Okay.
About see if we can get a guardrail possibly.
something, because you're going to have a flip. And it's going, yes, okay.
That's Whitley Street, isn't it? Is that-
Whitley, yeah, Whitley.
That's state.
That's what we know as Whitley. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, as you're coming on up here, due to the heavy foot traffic between this facility and the farmer's market, and the high volume of street traffic, including CMVs that comes off of Main, just barreling onto this road out here, can we get some type of a pedestrian crossing signs or markings on the street?
You're talking about crossing from here
Yeah,
over, yeah.
over to the
So
farmer's market.
Where we've talked to the state about that.
Okay.
Because it's state maintained, and that's something that's works for a couple years too.
Does
So-
it normally take that long?
Well, I just think that they have a certain way that they do engineering, and so when they put a crosswalk in, especially if it pertains to any type of lighting, what they've told us consistently in the past is these red lights.
Right,
If it was further down,
they have to sync.
right, so, and then it just causes backups, and then they cause wrecks. So they have a formula to that stuff, but we have suggested it. I think one of the last things was their talks, probably 4 or 5 months ago when we was talking about Main Street, is that they said they might be willing to put some kind of more reflected lines through
That's
there.
what I'm thinking, or markings on the road.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, multiple, because there's so much
I agree.
kids crossing, and you know what it's like with children, and yes,
Yeah,
okay.
so, but it's a unique street, because it's like, if Philip and them could make a sign, Scott is really good about that stuff, but when it's state road, we can't put any
It's
signage
different.
up or anything, so we
And
have
I
to.
really like the idea of having the department heads coming in, and, because I've learned a lot more about my little town.
Awesome.
I think that's a very positive move. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one on the agenda is Grace Gilbert. You have 2 minutes.
I just want to personally thank, my business is at 1404 South Main, and I have a furnace up on top of the building. It tore up, and so there was things, like below zero. I want to personally thank Philip Rawlings and the water department. We couldn't find, that building's probably 80 years old or more. We couldn't find the main turn-off, so I had to get them to come and turn the water off so that the water wouldn't freeze till the furnace got fixed. So I just want to thank them. They came, they got it. We tried to get it off, but we didn't have that special tool. So, thanks, Philip, and that guy that came and helped. That was tremendous. And another thing, I want to remind the council and everybody here, we are still forgetting about an ethics board. Now, people, for a government to operate and go forward, there has to be an ethics board for people to be accountable, whether it's the council, whether it's the mayor, any other employee. I don't know if the ethics board helps with the other employees that get out of line, but we don't have an ethics board, and we can't get no nomination. I mean, he has done it, but nominated people but nobody's approved them. That's important.
I think there's, Grace, a difference of opinion. Some of us think that we have approved an ethics board, and he's approved an ethics board, and we can't come to
An agreement?
an agreement. So that's where, and I wanted to tell you that at the last meeting.
Well, I wished you had.
Yeah,
'Cause I've not heard them. I've heard.
I think that, yeah, that's where we are.
There's some personnel issues that I can't get into for privacy reasons on that, but we do have an ethics board, and your points are well taken.
Do we have an ethics board? Do you have an ethics board now, Mayor?
Well, I think tonight is going really good.
Sorry.
So I would love to end it on, I'd like to say this. Kelly is right. We have a difference of opinions. It is, or the opinion of all this is currently laying in a higher court. I'm going to let that play out really before
Okay.
I give my opinion on it. And so, but like I said, the nights went really good, and I hope every meeting continues this way.
Well, it has been. I've been amazed. I was like, whoa, everybody's just like, yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, it's coming up, yeah.
Your time has expired. Thank you. Council, we did have one other person that wants to speak that did not sign in. Will you guys object to that, or will you allow it?
I'm okay
I'm
with it.
okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. They've allotted you 2 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Baker, when the rescue squad chief left, it said, it reminded you of something about the sidewalks. And for those of us who look at social media and stuff, we understand that 3 days ago, that Jimmy Phelps made a post about the sidewalks and the good old boy system. Then, little Douglas Phelps said, they're too busy playing political propaganda games and photo ops for such things. I would just like to know, and you liked that comment, which means you agreed with it. I would just like to know which rescue squad, fire department member, police member was doing propaganda and photo ops.
I didn't do that for a photo op or propaganda.
No.
You know, one of the
Douglas
things-
Phelps made that comment, and you
I'm-
liked it, which meant you agreed with it. That's, at least when I like something, I agree with it. So I'm just asking you, because you're running for council,
Okay.
who in the rescue squad or fire department was doing it for propaganda and photo ops?
None. You know, I would not be opposed with you have the business down the street that does.
We're not talking about my business.
Okay, but
We're
what I'm
talking
saying-
about.
Mr.
you just
O'Bannon,
said-
this is
Miss-
a public comment, not a public
you've
Q and
asked me,
A.
and I'm
And
I can't
just
talk to
because
the
you
council?
like something, if Mr. Baker likes something.
Listen,
does
I
not
wasn't
mean-
going to address you, but the irony
I
of
move
you
to
telling
adjourn.
them, the irony of you telling the public that you would not pre-approve an ordinance
Mr. Ortega?
when earlier
Mr.
in the
Young?
evening, you said, let's
Baker?
pre-approve
Yes.
an
Ms.
ordinance.
House?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Thanks for your answer, Mr. Baker. It was very revealing.